Hello everybody, it's Jen. Welcome back to another design team project for Not Too Shabby Shop. Today I am using the Lovely Pandas stamp set by Gerda Steiner Designs, and I'm taking a piece of paper from the MFT Black and White Dots 6x6 paper pad. So this stamp set was incredibly popular. I know it sold out on Jamie's site. It also sold out on the Gerda Steiner Designs website, but it is back in stock. So I know a lot of you have this, and I wanted to use it to make a friendship Valentine's Day card. So you saw there, I'm just showing how I get my stamps ready when I haven't used them. So I'm just conditioning them with my white eraser. I'm going to stamp out the little panda with the balloon onto my card panel here. This is Spectrum Noir cardstock. It's a premium cardstock that's good for alcohol inks. And I'm using my Lawn Fawn jet black ink. I will be doing some Copic coloring today. So I have our little panda stamped out. I'm just using my stamp Shammy there to clean off my stamp, and then we'll get into the coloring. So I'm taking my lightest marker, the C5, and I'm just mapping out all of the areas that I want black. So this will help as a guide so I don't color on any of the parts of the panda that I want white. So you can see here I've sped this up, and I'm still kind of taking my time as I'm mapping this out. But I wanted him to have lots of black on him, so there was a stark contrast between black and white. So I'm so happy to be back. This is my first card and my first video since I've been away for Creativation 2019 in Phoenix, Arizona. So I was down at Creativation for several days, and then I had a week of vacation time afterwards. So I'm feeling a little rusty, but happy to be back in the craft room. Creativation was absolutely amazing, and I'm hoping to share more of that with you. So back to the coloring. After I mapped out where I wanted the black, I'm coming in with my C9 marker, which will be the darkest marker that I use. So I am using gray tones here to make the panda appear to have black spots. Once I have the C9 down, you can see that I used it only very sparingly on certain parts where there would be shadows. I'm now coming in with the C7, and this is going to be my midtone, and I'm going to have most of the image covered in the midtone. Once I get the C7 down, I'm going to come in with the lightest, the C5. And I'm sort of doing a flicking motion with my coloring. I wanted him to look a little bit fluffy. So I'm using a combination of flicking and then just regular coloring here. I am going to do the tip-to-tip technique, so I'm going to touch my lightest marker, the C5, to the C7. I just find that sometimes there's a really big variation between the C5 and C7 when I want something to look fairly dark. So he's going to blend out as he dries, and now I'm going to work on the white part of our little panda bear. So normally you would use a warm gray color for live objects, but with panda bears and often bunnies or polar bears, I really like to use the cool grays. Especially with the panda where you have the black, I like the contrast of the cool grays. So I'm using the C3 as my darkest, then going in with the C1, and then I'm blending that out using the C00. I want to make sure that I'm leaving lots of white space so that he looks white and not dirty. So I'm leaving his nose for the time being. I'm going to come back and do that with a black glaze pen once I have my coloring finished. I'm going to move on to the balloon, which I want to do in a pretty deep red color. Because reds are often the hardest to blend, in my opinion, I'm taking my lightest marker, the R24, and I'm covering the entire image. And you can see here I'm just leaving a bit of a white highlight on the left top of the balloon. So now, because the balloon is a round object, I'm bringing in my darkest marker, the R39, and I'm just going to go around the edge of that, either side of the balloon, to make it look rounded in appearance. So then I'm going to come in with the R29, and the smallest bit of highlight will be the R24. Now once I get that down, it feels a bit light, so I'm going to take my R29 over that center piece, but not on the highlight in the top left-hand corner. And then I'm going to repeat the same steps a second time, just so I can get a really gorgeous dark red for my balloon. So the red is really the only color that will appear on this card. Otherwise, it's very monochromatic with the black and the white. So I did want to ground my little panda here. So I started off with the C1 and the C00, and then I felt like it needed to be darker under his feet, so I brought in the C3, and then going back over with the C1 and the C00. I'm going to stamp on the balloon the you and me. I'm going to use my Versafine here, and here's how you can see that I'm rusty from being away and not making videos for a couple weeks. I forgot to zoom out my lens. So you're going to get a close-up look at how I completed the rest of this card. Typically when I make a video, I do my coloring, then I stop the video, and then I'll put the card together. But because this was pretty much a one-layer card and quick to put together, I just did it all at once and completely forgot to zoom out. So sorry about that. But we will continue. So on the inside, I'm stamping the sentiment, "So happy we're friends," and then I wanted to add one of the pandas on the inside of the card. So I'm going to choose this cute little guy holding the envelope, and I'm going to ink him up using Fawn Hippo ink. And I'm going to stamp that. I thought I wanted it over the sentiment, but then I thought it would be too busy, so I just positioned it down slightly to the right, and he looks super cute. So there's the inside of the card. I don't know what I did when I made my card bases the last time, but they seem to be a bit wonky, so I just had to use my Teflon bone folder there to try to get it straight. Now I already had a scrap piece of this polka dot paper from the MFT paper pad, so I'm just going to use that instead of using a brand new piece of paper. I knew that I only wanted to use about 2 inches of a strip anyways. So I've got that on, and then I'm going to bring out some American Crafts red glitter tape, trying to use up some of those things in my stash that I haven't used in a while. So I am going to cut down this panel. At first I started at 3.5 inches. But it was still too wide, so I cut it down to 3.25 inches. I'm going to put the tape, the glitter tape on, and then I'm going to have to trim down this panel a little bit more. I want the red glitter to be underneath the white panel with our little panda bear here. So I'm going to try to peel that off as quickly as possible and get that down onto the card base. A really clean and simple, quick card that I think is perfect for sending a Valentine to a friend. So here's where I'm just checking one last time. I'm going to bring in my Tim Holtz Tonic trimmer, which I absolutely love, and I'm going to cut this panel down to 3 inches. So I'm just going to adhere that with my ATG adhesive to make sure it sticks well to the glitter tape on that left-hand side. I will do some finishing touches here on our little panda to make him come to life. Just have to trim up this a little bit. And then I'm going to add some of these glitter hearts. These are punched out from an old Martha Stewart punch. I used them, they were left over from the card I did with the bouncing tiger for Valentine's Day, so I just thought I would go ahead and put them on. Added a little Spectrum Noir glitter brush pen on the balloon, and some white highlight as well as the black gel pen on his nose. So that's the card for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.